Thank you, Chairman Klobuchar. I have some questions on cybersecurity and the preparedness that we're looking at there. I know that the EAC recently adopted the VVSG 2.0, marking the first major changes to the standards in many years. Could you please elaborate, Chair McCormick, on how the VVSG has been updated to address any cybersecurity threats that we're facing, and if you see any risks to the electoral process if a state decides not to use an EAC certified voting system?
Thank you for the question, Senator Fisher. Yes, with the new VVSG 2.0, we have numerous additional requirements over 1.0 and 1.1 for security measures, including the elimination of transmission by wired or wireless capabilities. We are now going to be requiring penetration testing. We have more auditability of the machines, more requirements on auditability. We are requiring the use of modern encryption. We are also requiring software independence so that the software cannot change the vote totals on its own without it being detected by the machinery. And most important is that we try to get as many states as possible using our more secure standards. We're also going to be requiring, I don't know if I mentioned this, penetration testing of all systems. As far as the risks to the electoral process, most states use some portion of our standards or our laboratories. We don't test for all the states, but we do provide documentation and information for the states that do their own certification. Obviously, we have scope of conformance products that we will share. We are very willing to provide as much information as we can to the states who don't use our systems to be able to evaluate the security of the systems that they are working on.
You know, and we have seen an increase in those cybersecurity threats over the past several years. And in 2020, the EAC launched the Cyber Access and Security Program to help address the issue. Since the implementation of that program, how have election officials utilized the offerings? Do you see officials having pretty good buy-in for this, and does the program stay up to date when we have this constantly evolving space?
Yes, obviously we need to stay on top of all of the current threats. I mean, it's a never-ending project to stay ahead of the bad guys. Our CAS program has been utilized by election officials in 49 states. We've trained over 1,100 election officials, and we are currently working on producing a security component for e-poll books on our evaluation pilot. So we're working toward guidelines for all of the election supporting technology, and the CAS program at the EAC is part of that.
Do you think the electronic poll books, you just brought those up, is that going to help further protect election infrastructure, and is it going to be able to enhance that security?
Yes, e-poll books are connected to the internet, so it's important that we have high security measures on them. We do.
But isn't one of the things we don't want to be connected to the internet?
Well, there's a reason why they are connected, and that is to make sure that voters aren't voting in multiple places. So we have to be able to be assured that, if somebody's checking in, they haven't.
Does that put in jeopardy the entire system, or is it?
No, they're separate from the voting systems. Okay. They usually are just checking in to register, to get a ballot and to provide the correct ballot. And we usually do that by e-poll books usually driver's licenses. And, they swipe those driver's licenses, but there is usually a connection.
But it has nothing to do with the voting machines?
No, they're not connected to the
I think that needs to be
made
clear, because
yes,
there's deep concern about anything that's connected to the internet.
Yes.
And the possibility that could be hacked in any way.
Yes, and we are, we ask election officials to ensure there is an air gap between any kind of system that is connected to the internet with the voting systems, so that the voting systems are not affected by any kind of internet connection.
Right. Thank you very much.